All right, so that's what I was going to ask you guys is so when you're out, because I've been to the range, I've shot plenty of times, and there's obviously a certain sound that you get out of that, and then when you're being shot at, there's a little bit different sound. I'm assuming,
100%.
but when you're in that situation, like being shot at in somebody's neighborhood, it's kind of unique, but there's bullets everywhere. How can you tell the difference?
100%, you can tell the difference. So we were in villages and rounds going off everywhere, and the echo that when it makes it like the shooting in a different direction, it's so unique. So at first you just hear rounds going off, you're like, oh shit, it's just crazy. But then after a while it's like doof, you're like nope. You can hear them going off, and then all of a sudden it goes snap or a crack, and you're like, oh. Like you don't have to learn it. You just have to experience it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like it's not like you're figuring out, you're like, oh, okay, that's close. Oh, no, fuck that. The minute you know, the minute it happens, you know exactly that shit was coming right at you. But the minute you experience it once, you could identify it fucking every single time. So I'm telling you, that's all you need is like somebody shoots at you once, you will never forget that fucking sound and that feeling, and then you know exactly when you're being shot at and when it's shooting away from you. Oof. I've been shot at by my own people, by the way. I had an ambush initiated on me by our own guys. They fucking lined up and started unloading on us, and I didn't know it was them, and I was like, this is it. I was like, this is the thing that happens in the movies where we fight for our fucking lives. I was like, because this is targeted. And then all of a sudden they were like, it stopped. And then we linked up with them later, and somebody on my team was like, oh, dude, so I initiated that. We're shooting at guys who are above you. And I was like, fuck you. And then somebody else, not on our team, but attached to us, who I trust very much and talk about in my book, not saying any names, told me what really happened. Ooh. And they were shooting at us. He opened up an entire fucking line of Afghans.
Jesus.
On our position. It was the scariest moment in my fucking life.
Did you ever go to NTC?
Mm-hmm.
So NTC is National Training Center, and it's this place in California. It's outside of... It's actually like an hour and a half away from Vegas. And it's this place where it's like mock like villages. It's this like huge desert, and everybody goes there, or a lot of units go there to train for war. So before you go to Afghanistan, you go to NTC, you do a 30-day rotation, and you do a mock war there. And we went there, and I remember one time we're like traveling through, just working in small teams. We have like side-by-sides and four-wheelers, and we're coming back from a mission, and this unit just lit us up. And like we didn't even know, because it's not with real bullets. No, it was a regular Army unit. But they, I guess, didn't know that we were coming down, so there's a convoy, and they just like lit us up. And we heard that the guy who initiated it, some private, just got like demolished by his unit.
Motherfucker, like in real life.
Which is a big deal. It's like you go to war and you do that. Like it's real life.
You treat NTC like it's real life. Yeah. That's the point of NTC, is like you are there pretending like that's the real deal to see which mission you're going to get. Like you're fighting for an opportunity, and you're showing the headshed like what you're capable of. It's where all your training comes into play, and it's on, display. I remember my team sergeant he had to go to a meeting in NTC, and he was like, hey man, you're going to run this mission. And I was like, all right. And we pull up, and the EOD guy, not Travi, his junior. Travi's junior, we get out of the car, and as soon as we get out of the fucking map V's, we jump out. It's supposed to be a key leader engagement. We're going to go link up with these people. I'm fucking not even joking. I got this on video. He jumps out. He looks around, turns around and goes, which is get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Fucking EOD tells you get the fuck out of here, you go. And so I'm running this mission, and I'm like, generally what's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to link up with them, and then something's going to go wrong. I kind of know the game.
Yeah,
it's key leader engagement. It's a scenario. I kind of know the scenario, and I know this wasn't it, but I'm going to trust my EOD guy. So when he set up, and I shit you not, I'll post this video. I jump in the car, and I was like, we're out, Bosco. So fucking IED.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I was like, what's up, man? What'd you see? He goes, 2 + 2 is grenade, or is IED, bro. Or 1 + 1 equals IED. And I was like, what'd you have? He goes, I have a wire and a stack of rocks. And he goes, and the location was perfect to hit all of us. I was like, fucking A, let's go. So we fucking get in the map V and drive off. The sergeant major, the commander, everyone's standing on top to see us do a key leader engagement. And we just drove away. They start calling us on the radio. Like, where the fuck are you going? We're like, fuck you guys. We know what we're doing. We drove off. They ended up letting us just leave because once they explained like what we did, they're like, fuck, that makes sense. All right, well, no scenario.
That's great. We outran the scenario too one time. We had to do a 24-hour, or a sister team did like a 24-hour recon on a village, and we wound up hitting the village because like it was an IED maker was in the village somewhere. We ran up on these dudes, and it's like normal, regular army guys that pretend to be the enemy. And so like they have these scenarios planned out, and they're like, all right, well, this person is like an IED maker and all this and that, right? And so like we're operating so efficiently, like I guess we figured it out.
Yeah.
And so we hit the village, and normally like they would know, be like, hey, this team is coming to assault your village and all that. So we roll up on these, they're all asleep. Like we go through every building, every building in the village, and like we're waiting. It's like they know we're coming. Like one of these rooms, they're gonna be fighting back. So we clear every room or every building. We get to the last building, and they're all asleep. And like we walk up, and I heard the guy on my team like hits him with the rifle. He's like, "Hey, wake up!" And the guy wakes up, and like we just take them all prisoner.
Nice.
And it was like you guys afterwards, like we have a debrief, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys kind of outran the scenario on that one." It's like they weren't ready for that, so they had to reinstate the team because they didn't get to finish what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They had all these objectives, and they had to reinstate the team somehow, even though we just hit them. They were like, "All right, well." They're back now.
Recon. I love that, dude.
It's so cool. And that was like, as a team.